Don't forget to let me know you guys are out there by liking, subscribing, and coming back every week for new content. What's up, everybody? It's me again, Ryan, with your latest episode of Dinner and a Monster. And yes, this is not clickbait. I actually did break one of my rules, which is I don't normally review movies that have been in the theater or, like recently in the theater. I usually do Prime or Shudder or Netflix, and I know I kind of, became a little bit of a hypocrite, but I gotta be honest, as a lot of you know, I'm both busy and not busy at the same time, so I sometimes have a hard time getting the opportunity to, sit down and watch a movie, because I gotta take the dog and, all this stuff. Well, anyway, so my mother, my aunt, and I went to see the movie Us, which is the Jordan Peele film, last night. And I had heard mixed reviews, and when I say mixed, I mean extremely, this movie is the greatest movie ever made, to this movie is garbage. Okay, so I decided to give you, the monster hunter that I am, the somewhat, I guess, I wouldn't go as far as expert, but I'm a connoisseur of horror films. At least I kind of consider myself one. You guys don't always have to agree with me, and that's fine. But my job as the reviewer is to tell you the pros and cons of a film, let you decide at the end if you want to see it. Now, I will advise, obviously, as I've done in the past, whether or not you should see a film. See this film. Okay, I'm just going to lay it out there from the beginning. See this film, okay? Now, I can understand why some people may think it is garbage, and to be honest, it's probably because they don't understand it. If you like weird movies, and what I mean by weird is not even necessarily the subject matter of the film, but the cinematography, the locations, the plot itself, actually, it's all weird. But I like those kind of movies. I am your some of my favorite films are Clockwork Orange and The Shining, of course, which are considered weird films, or they were in their time. They're not as weird. Requiem for a Dream. I am, Opera, which is personally one of my favorite Argento films. Actually, it probably is my favorite Argento film. But yes, I love weird movies. Love them. Because they don't fit in a mold. They think outside the box. And again, though there are aspects of this movie that are not weird, there are definitely aspects that are weird. Now, there are also a few things that don't 100% make sense. But at the same time, I'm going to explain those to you. So, keep in mind, there will be some spoilers in this towards, about halfway through, but it's mainly directed towards the people that have seen the film and wanted a better explanation of situations. I am not giving away the end of the film. I don't care if you've seen the movie or not. I'm not going to give away the end because you have to see it for yourself. It's great. The ending is, again, it's weird. It's a movie. Another weird movie that I love is Funny Games, which is a messed up movie. I guess I like weird messed up movies, and this one goes right along with being weird and messed up. So, from the beginning, we have a family. Well, you see, not the very beginning, but we have a little girl named Addie, and she has her parents with her, and it's 1986, and her father is getting drunk. And let me tell you something, and this is honest to God truth. Back in 1986, which was when I was very young, it was very common for dads to just get snockered. I'm not gonna lie to you, it was very common. Going out to eat. My stepdad was an alcoholic, but it was very common for fathers to partake a lot in alcohol, and I'm sure they do today, but it was more, I feel that it was more prevalent in the 80s. I don't know why, but it was. I mean, I don't see it, I see more single people, getting intoxicated out in public more than I do fathers with their kids nowadays. So a few things have changed over the years. But anyway, so you have little Addie, and she's with her mom and her dad, and like I said, it's 1986, and they're at a carnival, or not a carnival, but like one of those beachside theme parks in Santa Cruz. And so, you know, you've got the beautiful beach and the water and all this. And so her mother has to go to the bathroom. And of course, her father is distracted in playing a game, a whack-a-mole game. And Addie wanders off, just as we all did in 1986. The only thing that was odd to me, a little odd to me, I guess, is she seemed like something was calling to her, and I get that. But when I was a little kid, I probably wouldn't have gone towards, you know, the beach and the ocean alone, because A, it was dark, and B, when I was very young, I quite literally drowned, and so I don't have the biggest love for the ocean, to say the least. But down at the bottom of, it's hard to explain, but okay, so you had to go down these little stairs beneath the platform that the theme park was on. And the theme park reminds me of those little fly-by-night carnivals that come through towns, or almost the, gosh, what is it called? Magic Midway in Orlando. You know, it's just a little thing with a few rides and some games to rip you off, you know. So basically, you know, like I said, a fly-by-night carnival. So down at the bottom of the stairs, there's a fun house, and for those of you who are unfamiliar with fun houses, because they are extremely hard to find these days, they don't really make them anymore, or have them anymore, but a fun house generally had like jump scares. Sometimes you would have this bridge that went in circles and it had stars in it, and you had to cross the bridge, like you weren't on the spinning part, but it would disorient you and you would try not to fall off this, you know, bridge or whatever. And there would be usually, towards the end, a Hall of Mirrors. Well, this was just a little forest. It was called the Shaman something. I don't exactly recall what it was called. And so you have little Addie going in there, and she kind of gets lost, and the power goes out and everything, and she gets, you know, stuck in the Hall of Mirrors, and she tries to go towards the exit. Well, she approaches she's backing up, and you see the back of another little girl that looks just like her, and she turns around, but her reflection doesn't immediately turn around, and then it does. And then all of a sudden, you know, she is a little girl who doesn't want to talk now. She wants to sit in the back seat and not talk. Her parents are frantic. Her mom obviously more frantic than her father, because he was trying to say, oh, she was only gone for 15 minutes, which is another thing about fathers back in the 80s. Yes, they were worried about their children, but they tended to try to keep a little more of a level head and not freak out, and make light of the subject, which is kind of sucky because it wasn't always, you know, a light subject. But, you know, Dad's point was, she's safe now, she's fine, don't worry about it. Well, anyway, I'm kind of jumping around because I am going to get to that because they keep doing flashbacks. So I'm just kind of calculating, you know, getting the flashbacks. Well, anyway, so Addie hasn't spoken. She goes to a therapist. The therapist says get her into something that interests her, like dance or something, and so she becomes a ballerina. Okay, cut that off. Now, we're going to fast forward to present day, where Addie has a husband named Gabe, a daughter named Zora, and a son named Jason. Now, as you saw from the previews, there is another them, or if you want to go by Coraline terms, other them, okay? So there is an other Addie, an other Gabe, an other Zora, and an other Jason, okay? Well, there's also a white family that I forget their names too. I know the wife's name was Kitty, and they have all this money and all this luxury, okay? So these doppelgangers, because that's what they are, and again, that's not a spoiler because that's straight up from the previews, they come and they start torturing this family, right? And you do eventually find out why. Now, I'm going to stop here for that part because I want you guys to see this film, and everything from this point on is going to be spoilers. Okay, and again, I'm not spoiling the end of the film, so see, with me, I always say spoilers never bothered me anyway, because they don't. I am not someone who necessarily likes surprises. If I go see a movie on opening night, that's fine, I get the surprises, but other than that, I don't get upset when people give me spoilers, because whatever. I'm still going to see the film, or I'm not going to see the film. It doesn't affect whether I'm going to see it or not. So anyway, so like I said, from this point on, it's going to be spoilers because I also need to explain things to you. Okay? So turn it off now. so I can tell the rest of the people what's going on. All right. So, for those of you who are still sticking around, obviously you've seen the film or you don't care that I'm going to give this stuff away, because I want to explain a few things to you that might make sense, okay? Now, there are theories on Reddit and stuff like this. This is partially my own interpretation, as well as things that I have heard or seen or read on Reddit, whatever, and various outlets, okay? So, one of the things that shows up a lot is 11:11. Now, as you know, those are parallel to each other. 11 and 11 is parallel. It's also a sign of, some people will make a wish at 11:11 because it's, good luck or, whatever. And it's, if you think about it, it's the only time on the clock that does that exactly like that. So, pretty much that is a very important thing. And then you see the, actually I had to look this up because I couldn't remember what it was. You see the apparently homeless man, maybe possibly homeless, holding up a piece of cardboard that said Jeremiah 11:11. Now, I actually looked up that verse because I know sometimes they will have a verse in a movie, or a Bible, not a Bible verse, but a passage, not passage, but a chapter, there we go, and it's not really anything. Jeremiah 11:11 actually is something, and this is what it says. It says, "Therefore, thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them." Now, what that means is, what it was Jeremiah was what I like to call a doomsday prophet. That was his thing, and I apologize if you hear noises. My nieces are at our house right now. He was a doomsday prophet. He was always trying to warn people what was going on, and in that particular passage, he's warning the Hebrews to leave Jerusalem because something bad is about to happen. You get out now, or when it happens, there's not going to be anybody to help you, and you're not going to be able to escape. Now, the thing is, and I think did I just get rid of that because I'm going to be mad at myself if I did. Okay, so here's the thing that to me, all right, I think that the film could have several meanings. I think one of which is the others are sort of our darker side, okay? They are the side of us that we hide from everyone else. The weirdness, the oddities, the probably horrific thoughts that we have, we hide them. Okay, well, what if they were personified into our doppelgangers? What would happen? Okay, this movie does have a bit of a Body Snatchers feel to it too, and let me tell you where I'm going to go with that. Now, one of the reasons that Jeremiah was saying that was because at the time the Hebrew people were worshiping false idols, much like you've heard the story of Moses and when he came down from the mountain and they were worshiping gold cow, and so he broke the original 10 Commandments or whatever. Well, it's the same general thing. Jeremiah said, you are worshiping false idols, so you're going to be punished. And if you don't get out of here now and start, fixing your life, you're not going to be able to get away from this. Okay, so the reason I'm saying this is because the white family that I cannot remember their stinking names. Let me see if I can remember at least their last names. That would be easy. Okay, the Tylers, which is bad because I know a lot of people named Tyler. The Tyler family perishes in this film. Now, the Tyler family, they have a form of Alexa. They have a beautiful summer home. They have a brand new boat. They have a brand new car. They have all these fantastic luxuries. Okay? And that seems to be the most important thing to them. Thus, they are worshiping the almighty dollar, aka a false idol. Okay? So, you come to find out that everyone on the face of the earth, or at least in this area, has a doppelganger, which is actually a cloned version. They refer to themselves as the tethered because they are two people that share one soul, and not in a good way. Okay? So, that is how Red, or other Addie, explains the situation to Addie. She refers to herself as the shadow, and how Addie received beautiful gifts where other Addie received cold, sharp gifts. How Addie received birthday cakes and wonderful meals where other Addie had to eat raw bunny rabbits. Now, in this film, there's a lot of references to bunny rabbits. You see them throughout the film. In fact, you see them in the beginning of the film. And personally, there were a lot of people that were like, what is the deal with the rabbits? So I actually got curious and I looked it up. And now let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Give me one sec. Oh, here it is. Okay. So, and it fits this film very well. It's because, let's see. Just listen, I'll just read it, it's easier. Okay. And this also fits with the name of the previous building called the Totem, or not the Totem, I'm sorry, the Shaman something or another. Is very Native American looking. Okay, so it says, you might overlook symbolic rabbit meanings because it seems like such a small, timid creature. Rabbits offer big lessons about being more aware of our environment and protecting ourselves if we sense a threat. Rabbits are also symbolic of fertility, family, and a new life. So basically like a change in the world, okay? Which is what, again, everything in this movie is symbolic. Everything. There's a reason for everything that happens in this movie, and that is why I love this movie, okay? So then you have the series, or how these creatures or these others look so different, or not look different, but they're wearing the red jumpsuits. All of them are wearing red jumpsuits and carrying scissors. Okay, my hypothesis to that is the Hands Across America t-shirt that the little girl had, that little Addie, other Addie, had hanging up on the wall, okay? They're red, okay? So they're associating that with the red, the little red people on the shirt. Okay, then you have scissors, all right? What is the main purpose of scissors? Right? Honestly, to cut things apart. So they're carrying scissors to untether themselves from those that live above. Because as you know, they live, in like a weird facility. They are genetically created. It doesn't explain, this was a little irksome, it doesn't quite explain why they were created. Or not why, but how they were created, because how could two bodies, like it would make sense if they were twins, like all these people were captured as twins and genetically modified, or one twin was genetically modified and the other one was left up on Earth, or up top to live their life, but that's not how it works. So that's a little weird. It doesn't really explain it, but it is government created. Now there's one part where Red, or other Addie, says we are Americans. Now, one point that was made was that the reason she says that is because the word us is actually standing for US, as in the government playing the puppeteers in a sense, telling us what to do and all this stuff. And I'm not going to go on to a whole little tangent of like any kind of theories or anything like that. I'm just going by what this movie is portraying. So, you've got that. And that we tend to ignore those that are lesser than us. We have, millions of starving veterans out there, and homeless, and all this kind of stuff. So that's sort of what one Reddit user noted. Now let me get on to when I previously was talking about the weirdness of the film. Again, I loved having the downstairs of the facility being stark white. I loved that the rabbits were white and black. I loved that they were wearing red, because I love the cinematography of starkness. The floors were not dirty, they were white. They were snow white. The red, was red. It was very vibrant. And cinematically, it was a beautiful movie. It is very good. It is very creepy. I think another reason some people didn't like it is because they were expecting it to be all jump scares. Yes, there are definitely jump scares in this film, but it is meant to be more creepy and more symbolic than anything else. So if you, much like Requiem for a Dream, there's stories within stories of this. There's reasons that everything is happening, and I like that. I don't believe in, I mean, coincidences. I don't believe really in coincidences. I may say, oh, that's a coincidence, because it's habitual to say that, but at the end of the day, I'm one of those people that believes everything happens for a reason, whether it's good, bad, in between. There's no coincidences. And so everything that's happening in this film is happening for a reason, and you do find out at the end what's going on, and you're going to get blown away. You're not going to see it. But the thing is, you've really got to pay attention to this film. And I think that's another problem, is we've been spoon-fed horror movies that you didn't have to think about for so long. And what I mean by that is simple movies where you got your jump scares, you got your killer, you got this, you got that, and it's done. And the good guys drive off into the sunset, and it's the end. But true, great horror films are not simple, ladies and gentlemen. They aren't. Simplicity is for the feeble-minded when it comes to horror films. Now, don't get me wrong. There are horror films that I love that are simple, that are easy. But I don't love them in the sense of a horror film. I love them in the sense of, wow, that was a lot of blood. Wow, I love these characters. That kind of thing. But true horror is never simplistic. Okay, another great film that I could recommend that children can watch, because I think it has one swear word, no sexual anything in it, is a movie called Dead Silence. Again, not a simple movie. You have to pay attention. Are you watching? Are you paying attention? There are so many Easter eggs in this film, and so many things that I caught, and I'm sure there's so many more things that I even missed. You need to see this film and judge for yourself. Don't go by my review. Don't go by anyone else's reviews. Definitely don't go by the negative reviews. Okay? You go out there, you watch this film, and you judge for yourself whether or not you like it. But keep in mind, this is a true horror film. This is a thriller. This is not hack and slash movie. This is along the lines of Funny Games. This is along the lines of the original Hills Have Eyes. I mean, it's Body Snatchers. It's you running from yourself. Now, if you could imagine you running from yourself and yourself is trying to kill you, that's terrifying. You look in a mirror, right, and you see that reflection every day. Well, imagine if that reflection was looking back at you. Okay? They knew what you were going to do. They knew what you were going to say. You control each other. Really think about that. That's terrifying. And that is why I'm so appreciative of this movie. My mom loved it. My aunt loved it. I really want you guys to see it. Now, I will give you this little disclaimer. They do play F the Police by NWA for about 3 minutes of the film. So I don't recommend necessarily, unless bad language doesn't bother you, I don't recommend taking your kids to see this. There's no sexual content in it, which I definitely appreciate. It is riddled with bad language here and there. It's not horrible until, like I said, that song, which I thought was kind of funny, because I was like, oh no, here it comes, because my mom's very much like, oh, but she didn't even notice, which is weird. But anyway, yes, please go see this film. It's definitely worth your time and money, and I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. Also, really quick, I now have a Patreon. It took almost 3 weeks for me to get accepted with Patreon, because I guess they're doing updates and stuff. So if you would like to help me improve my show, get a soundproof area, get better lighting, get better equipment, by all means, give to the Patreon. It's as cheap as $1 a month, and if I could get, quite a few, 300 people to donate $1 a month, that would help me out greatly. It'll also help me take care of some things that I need to take care of, so that I can give you better, better quality material. So yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching and supporting, and keep pouring my page out, because I really, this is as close to acting or being a performer that I'm ever going to get, and it means a lot to me, and it means a lot to me that I have 65 followers. I would still like to have at least 100 so I could get business cards with the side on it. But, you know, it'll happen. So, I want to thank you guys again, and have a great day.